The Financial Survival Network, helping you survive and thrive in the new economy. For a free financial survival toolkit and newsletter, sign up at kerrylutz.com, KERRYLUTZ.com.
1490 WGCH. This is Kerry Lutz. You're listening to the Financial Survival Network. My next guest, Chris Duane, is joining me for our weekly conversation about the economy, life, and where it's all heading. Chris, are you there?
Yeah, how are you doing, Kerry?
I'm doing good, man. You know, looks like the raid, the silver precious metals crash is probably over. There's all sorts of anomalies in the market. Platinum is selling for less than gold by a long shot, and that's a situation that doesn't last very long most times.
No. I mean, we basically saw, a 3-day raid that took the silver market down 35% in 3 days. And within 1 day, we've already recovered, I think it was 26% from yesterday morning at 5 o'clock in the morning when it hit 26. And then it all bounced all the way up, I think, to 33 or 34 within a 24-hour period from there. You can't tell me that this isn't just blatant paper manipulation. I constantly point out the COMEX volume of physical silver that's in the registered vaults has been dropping, on a 45-degree angle for 3 years straight. Yeah. There is a massive price drop of 35%. Logic would dictate, wow, there must be a lot of physical silver flooding the markets that's, meeting all the demands and dropping the price. No, these prices continue to go down, and that this is nothing more than a paper illusion. And, as this plays out, this is going to be no different than what happened in May. I think this is the second attack that they've done since May. And they're out of bullets. I think this was set up before they end up doing QE3 or whatever they're going to do, or whatever they're going to have to do to Europe to bail out the trillions upon trillions of dollars that are at risk there. This could be it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with you there. Watching the stock market today, it's up close to 300 points. And that tells me, well, went down a little bit. It's 150 now. Tells me that QE3 is on the way, or it's happening already. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what happened here. Right now, silver's close to 32, and it's going to pop up so fast people aren't even going to believe it, because today, was options expiration day. Yep. And they'll keep it going for another day or two after that, so that even people who expired in the money will take cash payments rather than demand the metal. And that's the way this game's been played for years. And you make a really great point that the amount of free metal on the exchange, I think it's down to about 30 million ounces, they say. And in probability, it's probably down even more than that. So where's the silver going to come from when everybody goes running for the exits?
Which is the reason why they knock these prices down. See, a lot of people don't get this whole shorting thing. I mean, when you sell paper silver into the market, you're essentially saying, hey, I got millions, if not billions of ounces of paper silver that I'm committing to sell into the market. And what they do, in a normal market, you would actually buy something and then sell it. Well, shorting it, you're selling something with the promise to buy it back. Well, these guys never settle. They never buy back. All they do is buy back and then sell it again, buy back and sell it again, buy back and sell it again. And that gives this paper manipulation where it suppresses the price of silver, because they never have to settle. There's the silver market's got the largest outstanding, longest term, most manipulated short position ever in any commodity throughout any history. And yet we have agencies like the SEC have been turning a blind eye to it. In fact, I even read something. I didn't read the whole thing on silverdoctors.com, where the SEC suspended physical requirements of commodities a couple days prior to this recent raid. The amount of manipulation and fraud that's going on in the specific silver market gives me such great hope that this is going to blow up in their face, and that the real value of silver is multiples times what it is today, and that this is still the best investment in human history, I believe. Yeah, well, it's interesting what you say, because a few years ago they even put in rules on the gold and silver markets that you can settle with the ETFs GLD,
and SLV. So they don't really even have to produce the physical metal. They can produce more paper, settle paper contracts with paper. And, I think we should talk about the SEC, because this is another one of those mistaken beliefs where people think the government's going to protect them from getting ripped off, from getting swindled.
Yeah, who is it, Gelsner or something? The guy that's in charge of it. He's from, where does he work from?
Goldman, I think, Government Sachs.
That's right.
Yeah, totally. What people need to understand is that regulatory agencies get put into place not to protect them, but to protect the large participants in the market from smaller, more nimbler competitors. You saw it when they put in the Fair Food and Drug Act. The purpose of that one, which is the granddaddy of these regulatory agencies, the purpose of that was to enable the large slaughterhouses to put the smaller slaughterhouses out of business, because the small guys didn't have the resources to comply with these very invasive, intrusive, and overly burdensome regulations. And this became the model for every single regulatory commission. The Interstate Commerce Commission, its sole purpose was to put the Great Northern Railroad out of business, because they were the only railroad that was created without a grant of Congress, without the government giving them land. It was all done privately. Henry Hill, or I don't think it was Henry Hill, but James Hill, basically put the rest of them out of business. So finally they had to go to the government to control them, to set rates and terms and all that. And we keep seeing this over and over again. So if there's one thing that I can drive home, it's that regulatory agencies are put in place to do exactly the opposite of what you think they are supposed to do and what they are named for. Like, the Interstate Commerce Commission was there just to support big railroads. And over, did people never catch on to this stuff?
Which is, again, the reason why owning silver is such a great way. I wrote the Silver Bullet and the Silver Shield. It's a great way of preserving your assets, but really it cuts at the weak underbelly of all that's corrupt. If you want to get against the Federal Reserve or the bankers or the military-industrial complex or a overbearing government agency, keep buying silver. Take your wealth, take your time, energy, and wealth out of the system and put it into something that has no counterparty risk, no way of tracking it, no way of taxing it, and hide it. And just wait. The whole system will collapse. It's mathematically inevitable, and this is the best way of going about doing it.
Yep, it's going to collapse. It's getting closer and closer. We can kind of see the light, the silver light, no pun intended, well, pun intended, at the end of the tunnel. And it's going to happen. Another instance of regulations protecting large players is, again, the Food and Drug Administration. You know how much it costs if you want to get a drug approved, right?
Billions.
It's at least $1 billion.
And there's no guarantee they even make it through.
Yeah, and it's not like they keep stuff off the market just because it's going to kill you or make one leg shorter than the other or cause your ears to shrivel up. They don't think that it does exactly what you said it should, efficacy. And who does that protect? It protects the large pharmaceutical corporations who are controlled by that access, that you-know-who access. And it's all about maintaining control and protecting privilege, government-granted privilege. And why do you think these companies make billions and billions of dollars? On the one hand, they keep the competitors out because they can't get their drugs approved. On the other hand, they've got patent protection, another privilege granted by the government, which locks in their profit. So it's a game that they control. They pull all the levers, and the small companies either have to team up with the big ones or they're dead. And that's just the way the system has been designed. And all these platitudes that it's there to help people and protect them and stop them from getting exploited, it's the exact opposite. The reason drugs are so high, there's a 3-letter reason, FDA. And every other place you look at, the reason the schools are going down the tubes, we talked about that last time, it's enlightened citizens aren't exactly welcomed with open arms these days. And let's keep the kids dumb so they don't think, there's no critical thought, and then we can just do what we want.
Nope.
And like you say, that all that's coming to an end. Chris, tell us what kind of reaction we've gotten from the viewers of don't-tread-on.me. Hey, I got it. Man, this was good. And I didn't even use my cue card. Isn't that great? But seriously, your people, and I view them as your personal community, and you've really welcomed me into your community, and I know your people out there are listening to our discussions religiously, because I can tell by the thousands of downloads, so thank you for that. But your community, which is really kind of a sacred trust when you get down to it, because those people read what you say, they look up to you, they've seen silver, quote unquote, crash, and I don't want to call it a crash because these fiat measures are becoming more and more irrelevant by the day, but if they wanted to go buy more silver at that price, theoretically they could. So what's the feedback, Ben, from your community?
Yeah, so here I was, I wrote my final warning 1 month ago, I think almost to the day. And the final warning was essentially like, I had nothing else to tell people about why they should be buying silver right now, why they should be getting out of paper assets. It stated the case over and over again that this is it. And I fear that coming this fall, and this could be next month, it could be in 2 months, that we're going to be having another major catastrophe that's going to make 2008 pale in comparison, because this is not going to be a Lehman Brothers and AIG. This is going to be the United States. European nations are going to replace the things of corporations, and there is no backup to it. The system will collapse. It will implode. It will blow up. You're going to see things that are happening that are going to blow your mind, and you're not going to have time to move your money around. So that's the reason why I said there was a final warning. So knowing that I essentially put my nose out there, saying there's a final warning. Here comes this, 35% crash in 3 days. I fully expected people going, "Oh, Silver Shield, haha, you got it wrong." No, we got it right. And I can tell you what, I wrote an article. I said, I'm proud of you guys, because I put up a weekend chart saying, hey, what's the local field report? Now, I was expecting the local coin shops, they're obviously going to pull their silver. They're not going to sell it at these ridiculously low prices. But people were, ecstatic, because it wasn't, oh no, I lost X amount of dollars. It was, wow, silver's on sale and I can go buy more of it. I did myself. I actually sold, I don't know if I told you, but I sold my personal Jeep Wrangler. I just sold it today.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be buying some silver tomorrow, because I'm selling everything I can to go buy silver at these ridiculous prices. But, again, I feel like all the effort that I've been putting into establishing the intellectual foundation on why people should be buying silver has paid off, because, the response from the people who do get it is tremendous. And that's what gives me such hope that if people can get silver, they're going to get what's coming. And that's what I'm working towards here.
It's really interesting, because if you look at every one of those gurus out there, and I've talked to a lot of them, David Morgan, Rick Ackerman, Peter DeGraff, just to name three, but I could name a dozen of them. They all give the same advice. Maintain your core metal holding, and use pullbacks, which are inevitable. They're going to occur. Use pullbacks to accumulate more. And people who've got a brain here, that's what they're doing. I kind of bought my last silver at 27 and change an ounce. I'm pretty much content. But in any event, nobody can predict the short term other than the guys who create the short term.
Yeah,
the
and
long term,
that's the other thing. Like, yeah. I heard the rumblings of a couple, paper traders are like, oh, silver was going to crash to 26. And, you have to wonder, like, are these guys just disinfo agents putting out in the mem, to get people to go, oh, no, silver's such a violent thing, don't go near it, knowing that, and all these guys through our Andrew Maguire testimony front run this movement, and that they let key people know. It's not too much of a out of the realm of possibility that they could leak, a bear raid's coming, and it's probably going to happen on this day, and we're going to shoot till it gets down to 26, and you're going to look like a genius by getting people to say that I was right. Meanwhile, who knows? They're probably working for these guys. My point is, with all this paper trading, is that if you're in the casino's going to blow up on you at some point, and that only people who buy physical silver are logically thinking, are getting their money out, and they're not playing this emotional momentum monkey that they keep trying to get people to do.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there. Dennis Gartman, you could just follow him, and if you watch him, they always tip him off a day or two before a raid in silver or gold occur. When he says get out, he's been tipped off, but they never tell him.
Don't listen to him.
Yeah.
Don't
listen to him as far as if you're in the paper.
It's noise. What it is, Kerry, it's psychological warfare. It is designed to fool you, to get an emotional reaction out of you. And that the more we listen to these guys and the more we play into their paper games, the more power we give them. The best thing to do is to ignore them and to make them not even an issue, because their only power is the power that we give them.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm not saying get rid of your physical. Yeah. I'm saying if you're in stocks, if you're trading stocks, if you're in the paper, but if you're in it because it's like fun, just beware. When Gartman speaks, somebody else is pulling the chords and he's singing their tune. But they never tell Gartman when to buy. They only tell him when to sell. And it's become transparent. Anyway, Chris, gotta get going now. We've got links to your site on kerrylutz.com, and just tell everybody where to find you so they can find you.
Yeah, it's don't-tread-on.me. Kerry's actually been really cool about putting a lot of his original content. We had you did a lot of good stuff this past week. You had Bob Chapman. Who else did you have?
I had Morgan on there.
Who's the girl?
Kirsty Hogg. Yeah, she said, I'm not allowed to tell you this by law, but I think you should buy silver. And I love that. That was funny. Whoever pops up on my show, I'll put up there. And if anybody wants to reach me, just go to kerrylutz.com, click the contact tab. Or if we got questions for me or Chris, shoot Chris some emails.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. That's what we should do. We should
let's get
next
emails.
Time when you post this, email you a bunch. Kerry, that's what we should do. We should have, when you post this link, why don't you put your email address in there so people can send us questions and answers, and we'll do the next session based off of that.
All right, sounds good. So the next time we'll have a Q&A session. Feel free to send your questions to kl@kerrylutz.com. That's KERRYLUTZ.com. Chris and I will answer all questions. All right, Chris, man, we'll catch you next week.
All right, take care, man.
Be good.